back to my channel. My name is Tyler Duford, and today I'm giving you guys part 2 on how to stay academically organized. I previously did a how to get academically organized, and then I also did a part 1 on how to stay academically organized. So this is part 2. So if you haven't watched the other 2 videos, I highly recommend that you watch those. Those will be on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So the first tip that I want to talk about today is checking your emails in the morning. This has been an absolute game changer for me. When I started doing this, my days just flowed better. When I started implementing this, it just really allowed me to be on top of everything that I had to do in one day. Most people in school know that a lot of teachers communicate through emails. And so being someone that's currently in school and being in dental school, I get so many emails, and they're important emails. They're not just spam. It's important things like classroom changes or due date changes or, a change in the syllabi, some kind of change that's going to affect me in the long run. So I need to make sure that I'm reading through them and that I'm on top of it. Sometimes I've had emails where it's like the day of, it's just last minute, and instead of going into school, I'm not going into school, or they switch something. And even though, yes, you planned beforehand, like I said, life is always changing. So you really want to make sure that you are on top of it. And checking your emails bright and early, making it a part of your morning routine, allows you to kind of go into your day already knowing the things that you have to change and alter because of those emails. It's a pretty easy, simple task, unless you're someone that really has to go through your emails and reply to people all the time. It's a little bit harder and more time consuming, but I still suggest that you do it in the morning, so it's kind of one thing that you get to check off your list. Checking your emails in the morning really allows you to be on top of the things that you need to do. And if you're someone like me, I love accomplishing things on my to-do list. It makes me happy, I get so much more motivated, and it just helps me to start my day off on the right foot. So add it to your morning routine, check your emails in the morning. I promise you, you will feel so much more organized and just on top of everything that you have to do. My second tip that I want to give you guys is to work and play in different areas. And I know that so many people say this, but especially since the pandemic has hit, it is so important to separate the two. You really want to have an area where you can sit down and focus and be productive. And then you also want an area where you can just relax and just be able to do whatever you want. You want to have two distinct areas, because a lot of the times if you don't, then it's a lot harder to relax when you want to relax, and it's a lot harder to be productive when you want to be productive. For example, a lot of people like studying in their bedrooms. And yes, I am 100% guilty of it. Sometimes I just want to be a little comfy. Your girl just wants to, put a little pillow up, have her little blanket, snuggle up with Kobe while I type some notes, go over a lecture. I get it. But I always find that I'm less productive. And for me, I just can't go as long sitting in the bed, because I'll get so comfortable that I'll be like, I'll just take a nap. I'll just take a 30-minute nap. And then that 30-minute nap turns into an hour nap. And then I've just lost a whole hour, when if I would have just, gone to the office or gone to sit at my dining room table and sit up and be alert, then I probably would have had an extra hour to study or do the things that I needed to get done. And it's not the end of the world. Sometimes you are like, no, I'm not having it. I'm not sitting at this desk. I want to, lay in bed and study and read my notes. And yeah, that can be okay every now and then, but you're always going to be more productive in an area that is your workspace. Making your dining room table an office area for you is an option. It's something that I like to do because I like having so much space when I study. I like having my planner out, my iPad, my laptop, my mouse, and I like having snacks and water, and I just like having everything laid out, and that's just how I like to work. But I know that that is my designated work zone. Separating your work and play areas will just help you in the long run, because when you're sitting in your designated work area, your brain is like, all right, it's go time. This is my work area. We're not playing games. And then when you have your relaxed time, you go to your play area, living room or bedroom or something. And that's when you can relax and unwind. There's been so many times, because I made it a habit to study in my bed, that I wasn't able to shut off my brain. And that's not good, because in order to be successful, like I've previously said, you have to relax and you have to give yourself that self-love and just take a breather. I know this one is a little bit harder to kind of make a habit, but in the long run, it will help you so much, and you will just feel more organized, more productive, and you'll be able to kind of see the changes within your productivity. Also, just the way that you move throughout your day. You'll feel a lot more like you have things put together. So my third tip is honestly one of the most important tips that I can give you, and that is to give yourself structure. It is so important to have structure throughout your day. One, if you don't have structure, you're not organized and you're not going to be productive because you're doing 100 different things at once and with no plan, and it's just a bad idea. When you give yourself structure, you are able to be organized and you're able to be productive. And I've talked about previously on getting structure by doing planning and calendar blocking, but this type of structure I'm talking about is setting limits for yourself. So I'm the type of person that I like to get everything done before I reward myself. And I know that's a bad habit, but that's something that I do. But I've learned, especially since I've started dental school, that there comes a time where I am just pushing myself and pushing myself, trying to get things done, but my brain has shut off and it's like, baby girl, we're not retaining any more information, so you might as well put it down. But I don't listen. I just keep trying to go and go and go. And then I honestly end up performing worse. So I've definitely picked up the habit of giving myself structure and giving myself a time when I'm working and a time when I'm playing. I've noticed that when I give myself structure and I give myself a cutoff time that, okay, once 10 o'clock hits, no matter where I'm at, I'm stopping and I'm going to get ready for the next day. It's honestly helped me have fresh eyes the next day when I look at something. So if I'm struggling and I'm trying to grasp the concept of something that I'm reading at 9:30 p.m. and then I wake up in the morning and I reread that section, I'm just like, bro, how did I not understand that? It's because my brain was tired. I've been studying from 8 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. with breaks for just eating. That is a lot to do and that's a lot to handle. And it's very hard to keep that up on a consistent schedule of lack of sleep and lack of just self-care. Giving yourself structure is so important, and it will help you in the long run. You have to make that commitment, and I know it can be so uncomfortable. Trust me, I know I would just push and say, no, I just need to be able to cross this off, and I don't care how long it takes. If I have to go to bed at midnight, 1 a.m., and then wake up at 6, like, it's okay. No, it's not okay, because you need your rest. Your rest is so important. If you don't have your rest, it may be okay for you, you know, a couple of weeks, maybe a month, but sooner or later, the lack of sleep is going to catch up. And then it's just a ticking time bomb. And you don't want that. You want to thrive consistently. So in order to do that, you have to make these good, consistent, long-lasting habits. And giving yourself structure is ultimately my number one tip. My fourth tip for you guys is to back up your computer. There is nothing more terrifying than being a student and losing all of your study notes, all of your study guides, every single lecture. It is honestly the worst thing in the world, and you don't want that. We're so lucky that we have places like Google Drive to be able to put our notes. Definitely you want to keep things saved on your actual computer, but then you want to back it up to a Drive or iCloud or something that you know, even if your computer crashes or something weird happens, you know that it's saved in another area. And I cannot stress this enough. Not only do you want to back up the computer and have it all on the Drive, but you want it to be organized. Make sure that each class has its own folder. So that way, if you ever need to go review your notes, you know exactly where to go and you know exactly where it is. Backing up your computer is a simple organizational tip, but I promise you it will save you in the long run. So my fifth and final organizational tip for you guys is to unplug from social media. And I know that some of you are like, that's not an organizational tip. What are you talking about? But it is, because like I said previously, if your mind's not organized, you're not going to be organized. If you're constantly checking your phone, if you're constantly concerned with what other people are doing, then you're going to lose so much productivity time, and you're honestly probably going to feel bad about yourself. You have to remember that social media is everyone's highlights. It's pretty much everyone's highlight of their life. So you're constantly feeding your brain with all the good things and all of the top highest achievements that people are doing. And yes, that's great, and you want to congratulate people, but if you're at a point where you're having a lull, or maybe you're just going through life and you haven't had anything exciting, it can easily change your mood into, oh man, like, I'm not doing what they're doing, or I haven't accomplished that, or oh my gosh, I'm not doing that. And it doesn't matter. Every single person has their own journey. Every single person is doing a different thing. You should only be concerned with what it is you are doing as an individual. If you are all worrying about someone else, then you're not going to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish because you're worried about someone else's accomplishments. You need to be able to unplug from social media, focus on yourself and grind. You absolutely need to grind, and you're not going to be doing that if you're constantly checking your phone or text messages and things like that. When you unplug, you're able to focus on the present and the here and now. You're able to focus and really just get into what it is you're doing. Putting your phone on night mode or putting your phone in another room are really awesome ways to just unplug and focus in on what it is you're doing. You can also download some apps that pretty much award you for not being on your phone. There's one app that I used in undergrad, it's called Pocket Points. And it was really cool because the amount of time that you spent off your phone not touching it, you would accumulate points. And after a certain amount of time, you would accumulate enough points to get discounts on, restaurants or different kind of items and things like that. So Pocket Points really allowed me to just be able to focus, stay organized and productive, and not be on my phone, scrolling through, then looking at notes, then scrolling through. It allowed me to remain focused and organized in what it is I was doing in the present time. Another app that a lot of classmates of mine have been using, it's called Forest. And it's really awesome because the amount of time that you spend off your phone, it tracks it and it starts building this little tree. And once you've actually built a tree within the app, then it builds a tree somewhere on the earth around the world. And so it's a really great way to hold yourself accountable and, being present, staying focused and things like that. But it also gives back. I know that there's so many more apps, but those are just the two apps that I've had experience with, and they're super awesome. So you should definitely download those if you are someone that needs just a little bit more help unplugging with social media. So this was part 2 on how to stay organized academically. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this series. I love doing things like this. I'm always looking for ways on how I can improve my organizational skills and productivity. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe because there will be more content coming soon. And I will see you guys next time.